The Baba Yaga. There are times in popular culture where a legend kind of is referenced more than before, so more people know about it. There have been a couple movies recently that have talked about Baba Yaga. Many times, Baba Yaga is called kind of the Russian Boogeyman. In reality, the Boogeyman is kind of the kind of American Baba Yaga. So a lot of people think that the Baba Yaga is a strictly... It's the Baba Yaga. I hear her footsteps. That might work into it. What's interesting is a lot of people think that Baba Yaga is strictly a Russian folktale, but it's not. It's actually Slavic, and I want to take a little bit of time to talk about what Slavic actually means. Slavic folklore is much older and wider than just the country of Russia. The Slavic people are an Indo-European people who speak a Slavic language, and they're native to Eurasia. But they stretch from Central Europe all the way to Northern Asia and Siberia, and they're Slavic people all over the world. Countries with a majority of the population belonging to one of the Slavic language groups are actually Belarus, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Poland, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Ukraine. So really, Baba Yaga kind of is part of all these countries, not just a Russian folktale. Something interesting about her is, when she appears, a wild wind blows, trees groan and leaves twirl through the air. What's interesting, perhaps you've heard, Baba Yaga flies around in a mortar and pestle. If you don't know what a mortar and pestle is, it's what they used to use to kind of grind up herbs or different ingredients. Now, this seems very different than maybe, witches that fly on broomsticks. But what's interesting is, in some legends, Baba Yaga actually flies around on a mop with a bucket. The idea is it's kind of just a household item, much like a broom that she is enchanted and moves around on. Baba Yaga's house also walks and moves around on chicken legs, which is something that we see throughout all the legends. She lives in this house, it walks around on chicken legs, which is kind of creepy. The name Baba Yaga has some things known about it and some things actually still not known about it. Baba is most likely a Babel word like mama or papa, and most likely stems from the word babushka, which is obviously grandmother. But Baba nowadays in present-day Polish means foolish or dirty old woman. Yaga is a little bit more difficult to understand. It could mean snake or wicked, but there's also a lot of other options, such as horror, chill, anger, witch, wicked wood nymph, dryad, evil woman, or fury. So what's interesting is all those things maybe reflect her, but we don't know for sure where it comes from. Perhaps all of them. The first clear reference actually to Baba Yaga was in 1755 by Mikhail L. It's a V. Why would I say L? The first clear literary reference to Baba Yaga was in 1755 by Mikhail V. Lomonosov in his book Russian Grammar, and it actually had a lot of different legends and folktales. Sometimes Baba Yaga is listed among the gods, and sometimes she's just on her own as kind of an ununderstood creature. Not also misunderstood, but just something that people didn't kind of know what to do with her or where to put with her. This is because Baba Yaga wasn't always an evil, child-eating witch in her tales. Sometimes she was sort of this old woman who guided people along, and maybe she gave you a test in these stories. The hero would come in contact with Baba Yaga, she would have a trial or test, and if you failed, you might end up getting eaten. But if you passed, she gave you a particular item or something that helped you solve the plot. So sometimes she was very helpful in that way. If you go even further back, there's a possibility that Baba Yaga was kind of a prototypical mother of the forest, sort of a mother goddess even. There are native peoples of the forests of northern Russia and Finland, and that may have had small statues called Yaga, and put them in their own little houses. And from this legend, we could have had the Baba Yaga, that, these kind of pre-Christian gods becoming demonized as Christianity comes along. So I like the idea of her origins being a little more ancient than maybe we think. Now, the stories of Baba Yaga are usually always spooky. They're in the woods. I highly recommend reading them. They're always fascinating and entertaining. And make for some really good ghost stories. I love that different cultures have different monsters as well as characters, and I suggest that if you want to know more about Baba Yaga, you should look it up. I have just kind of glossed over the surface, and there's a lot more information, but given the time, there's a lot of cool stuff to look up. Thanks for listening today, and I'll see you again in another world. That was a little shorter, huh?
Yeah, that's good though.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.